ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. I think we have finished seeing the fifth one here, shloka. We'll chant it just to make sure everything is covered and just summarize it before we go further. Shraddha nirmamata viraga shuchita nissangata purnata bhakti prema rasa arasa prasada paramanandadayo ye gunaha वस्त्रालङ्करणानि तत्र विदुषा देयानि विश्वम्भरे सोऽहं भावमनोहरेण विधिना यद्यद्यथा रोचते. Now we saw that the next step in the puja was alankara, wearing all kinds of clothes and ornaments, the offering of clothes and ornaments. And those clothes are in the form of Shraddha, one's own trust. Nirmamata, not about me, this is not me. And then Viraga. Viraga means Vairagya, dispassion. And then Shuchita, inward and outward cleanliness. Purnata, wholeness. Bhakti prema rasada paramananda. So bhakti, devotion, prema rasa prasada. The bhakti is described as prema rasa prasada, which is in the form of love and which is the blessing of a love. And so that is what the devotion is here. And then Paramanandadaya. Paramananda means the Ananda that is centered on the eye. All these are ornaments, ornaments and clothes. Vastra alankaranani tatra deyani. These have to be offered. By whom? Vidusha. By the wise person they have to be offered. Unto whom? Vishwambhare. And I told you there is a little pun here. Vishwambara means the Vishwa is the clothes of whom? The whole universe is the cloth in which the Lord is clad, and the new universe not being separate from Ishvara. So then there is a pun here. Vishwambhare is the one who fills up the universe. So there is a slight, very nice audible pun. And then soham bhavena manoharena vidhina yadyad yatha rochate. So as one wants, since you are not going to the sari shop to buy silks, pure silk saris and all these things, and you're not going to the jewelry shop to purchase gold and diamonds, in the heart you can be completely as free as you want and as expensive as you want, because you're not really spending any money. So that's why yad yad yatha rochate. So if you're doing manasa puja, as this wise person is doing here, so the manasa puja, don't say, okay, here, sit on the floor. Give the Lord a nice throne made of jewels and gold, because it's all in the mind. At least be generous in the mind. That is what it said. Now the next one, the next step is not bathing, anointing with what is that called? Sandalwood paste. That is the next step in the puja. Let's see how the sandalwood paste translates in the mind of this, in the mind of the person ready for this knowledge or already having this knowledge. Advaita pratipattiratma vishaya सा सामरस्याञ्चिता गात्रालेपनचारुचन्दनमिदम् देवस्य देयं प्रियम् शान्तिः क्षान्तिरलोलता सरलता निर्मत्सरत्वादयः शास्त्रार्था यदि नक्षताश्च विदुषाः शुद्धस्त एवाक्षताः. Very nice. Two steps are given. The first two lines show the anointing of the sandalwood paste. It's like giving the Lord a facial, like a little spa treatment. So the face has Chandanam, the body also is nicely rubbed with Chandanam. I mean, in any case, what you do to the Murti is what you do to yourself. And since being anointed with the what is that, sandalwood, of course, it will put a big dent in your paycheck if you anoint yourself every day with sandalwood from head to toe. But nonetheless, it's very, very pleasant. It's fragrant. It's got healing properties. It's cooling. It calms one down. So therefore, the same thing you do to the Lord, whatever you want done to yourself. The whole puja abhisheka is like that. And so, what is the chandanam here? The sandalwood, which is fragrant, is Advaita Pratipattihi. Pratipattihi, assimilation, understanding. Understanding of what? Advaita, non-duality. Advaita Pratipattihi, the understanding of non-duality, which is what? Atma Vishaya, which is basically oneself, the knowledge of oneself. So the understanding of non-duality is not somewhere outside of you. It's the self-understanding. It's self-knowledge alone. The understanding of Advaita is you. Its understanding of you is Advaita. And so Advaita Pratipatti, which is what? Atma Vishayaha. Atma Vishaya. So Atma Vishaya, Advaita Pratipatti. Oh, yeah, so it is not, it goes with Advaita Pratipatti, which is feminine. So Atma Vishaya, also feminine. So Advaita Pratipatti, Atma Vishaya. Sa Samarasyanchita. Anchita means made more handsome. Made handsome. Anchita actually means curved. So, like, in the classical literature, Sanskrit literature, a princess or a heroine of a particular play might be described as Anchita Bhruhu. Bhruhu means brow. Yeah, I think even the English word has come from Dhru only. So the brows. So the brows, if they are straight, it look like a bored emoji with straight brows. Sometimes when we see all these faces, that the texting and all has made available now. So the yellow face with straight eyebrows, is like somebody who is disinterested, bored, etc. But the arched eyebrows is seen as a sign of beauty, and so here made more beautiful. By what? Samarasya. Samarasya means by the essence of equanimity. And so there is a very nice connection between equanimity, the cultivation of samatvam, equanimity with regard to the one's reactions or responses to the result of action. So when the results of action are taken very, very seriously and from the standpoint of karma yoga, so when the result of action and the results of whatever you do are taken seriously in the sense of seriously one is developing a prasada buddhi. What is prasada buddhi? A buddhi of glad acceptance. Whatever comes, let it come, because only whatever should come comes. Whatever doesn't need to come doesn't come. And so therefore Whatever comes, let it come. That kind of an attitude. So this is what is called prasada buddhi, and that prasada buddhi is behind samatvam. Samatvam is gained because of prasada buddhi. That's a precursor, that is a prerequisite to the samatvam. That's a prerequisite. So then, what is the thing here? So this buddhi is the prerequisite, and then in this prerequisite, once this samatvam, one is trained to accept what comes. One trains the mind, disciplines the heart to accept what comes. And how to train the heart? We know this, we have seen this many, many times. To see everything as Ishvara. The actor is Ishvara, action is Ishvara. And of course, if the actor and action are Ishvara, the result of action is also what? Ishvara. And so seeing Ishvara as the prasada itself. First you see it's the prasada of Ishvara, then you say it is Ishvara alone. It is Ishvara alone. And so therefore, see, that's why we have in the, we Ishvara is the whole universe. Tree is Ishvara, everything, even the snake is Ishvara. That's why we have the festival Naga Panchami. It's going to come early next month, August 2nd or something. And so on that day, all the snakes are honored and fed. Of course, from a healthy distance, but nonetheless, they are honored and fed. And so this is why. So the prasada buddhi means that whatever comes, I learn to accept, I learn to take. Because one has tried changing it and one has not been successful. That's why one learns to take it. If you can change it, please change it, no problem. But here we are talking of things that cannot be changed. And things that cannot be changed must be accepted grumblingly at first, and later with self growth happily accepted. This is what happens when this is done. There is equanimity. One enjoys equanimity. Guruna api dukkhena na vichalayet. Na vichalyate. The Bhagavad Gita says, even by a huge challenge, huge sorrow, one is not perturbed, one is not affected. So that is what is here. So, two things. Advaita Pratipattihi, which is Atma Vishaya. The self-knowledge is talked about, and how to get there is also talked about. How to get there means how to prepare the mind to receive this knowledge. So you have samarasya, you have equanimity, which is a very important part of Karma Yoga. So the first phrase, Advaita Pratipattihi Atma Vishaya Sa, means the first phrase here means the ability to gain self-knowledge, that self-knowledge itself, the knowledge of one, the vision of one as without a second, non-dual, free. This is Advaita Pratipattihi, which is Atma Vishaya, which is belonging to the realm of one's own understanding of the self. And so this is the vision. And then Sa Samarasyanchita, that is made more beautiful, meaning it is at hand. More beautiful means what? It is at hand. How? It is easily gained. How is it easily gained? It is gained by equanimity, which prepares the mind to receive this knowledge. And so the equanimity becomes Karma Yoga Shastra. So the vision and the way of life. The way of life conducive to internalizing this vision. Both of them are there in half a shloka. I don't know how he manages. This is what has been said in, you need like volumes and volumes, voluminous amounts, have to be talked about for the background and everything. This is the fun part about being a poet. You can just write it in one line, half a line, and then especially Vedanta poets, and then leave it to the teacher to keep on talking about them. So this is nice. So there is so much to talk about here. But since this has repeated in other contexts, I'm just taking the liberty to go a little faster. So, Advaita Pratipattihi Atma Vishaya sa Samarasyanjita. So, and what is that? That corresponds in the puja to Gatra Lepana Charu Chandanam Idam. So, Idam means both of these things because they are a package deal. Karma Yoga and the vision of Vedanta, they go together, they are a package deal. So, together they are described as Idam. So, what are these? Gatra Lepanam, Gatra body, Lepanam anointment. So the anointment of the body with what? Charu Chandanam, sweet, beautiful sandalwood. Beautiful sandalwood. And what is that? That is Advaita Pratipattihi, the self-knowledge, the commitment to self-knowledge, and the following of the way of life called Karma Yoga. Both of them together constitute the sweet, the fragrance and the fragrant sandalwood paste. So, the sandalwood powder, sometimes it comes in the form of tablets. So, you buy those tablets and then put some water and just mash it up. And then with that, you anoint the whole body of the Deva. A very nice meditative, calm exercise. And then you also get a little bit of a, what should I say, hand spa, because your hands are all cool and golden colored with this chandan. And then you enjoy that, and then it's very tactile, so it's very beautiful. And so devasya deyam priyam, the Lord, it is said, loves this lepanam. Lord doesn't love. You love, so you say, okay, I want the Lord to love, because the leftover you want to make a face pack. That's all. That's all there is. So whatever you love, you do this, what is that called? Anthropomorphizing the deity. And people go to the temple and they say, oh, I think Dakshinamurti is looking at me. Dakshinamurti is in meditation, okay? He's not looking at anybody. But no, I think he looked at me. And one young boy came and told me, I think he's winking at me. I said, Tathastu, wonderful, no problem. I think he wants me to do something. It was some mischievous thing he wanted to do. And he claimed Dakshinamurti winked at him and told him to go ahead and do this. 8, 10-year-old fellow. And so like this, this is we anthropomorphize. And then there'll be hundreds of devotees and one flower falls, and then what do they say? It's all for me. Each one says it's for me, it's for me. I had this desire and I made this flower fall, and that means my desire will come true. So like this. And sometimes uh, people going to pujas and temples are somehow in a bad mood. And it's not like a bad mood, it's just a slight bad mood, if you get my drift. And so they don't have much of a, what is that called? They don't have much of a understanding that they are even in a bad mood. It's before the understanding comes, but there is a sense of discomfort and kind of a disengagement, apathy towards everything. And then so they go to the temple or they go to a shrine and they say, oh, the Lord looks a little upset and bored today. Today, very, very mad. The God looks mad. Really. And in the Bible it is said God made man, not women, okay, only man. God made man in his own image. But here it's like the people are making God in their own image. That is more true, really. So, however you see, whatever you see, same thing, whatever you think is pleasant, you offer that to Bhagavan. Whatever you eat, you offer that to Bhagavan. You think, oh, God also must be loving this. And so, like this, there is a kind of an anthropomorphization. And so, here to avoid all that, it is talked straight away. Go to the bowl of Chandanam is Atma Pratipattihi, is Advaita Pratipattihi, which is Atma Vishaya. Atma Vishaya Advaita Pratipattihi. So the cognition of the cognition of the Pratipatti means cognition of oneself. Cognition of oneself, Atma Pratipattihi, which is what? Advaita Vishaya. It is Advaita Vishaya means it is not, it is the subject matter of non-duality and the subject matter of oneself. That is what it is. This Atma Pratipattihi. And you see, it is a very appropriate example because when the Chandan is applied, it is applied from head to toe. Not a single body part of the deity is missed. If it is missed, the priest will come back and then anoint that again. And so that this way, if Atma Pratipatti, if self-knowledge is what? Is Chandanam, then you anoint yourself completely with that from head to toe. And just think about how wonderful the anointing of the Chandanam would be, or a healing clay pack or something like that, the whole body. Sometimes, they have these mud baths and everything. That's because in the last life one was a water buffalo and got used to mud baths. That is why that leftover vasana is there. That is why mud baths are popular, collectively speaking, because they appeal to our lives led at some point in the form of water buffalo. So anyhow, just a joke, okay? Don't take it seriously. And then people will ask questions. When was I a water buffalo? Can you please specify which life? It's just for fun. And so this is so just like that. When the water buffalo or the hippo, all these big animals, they love to roll around in this sludge, and it's completely covered. And they do that to keep cool, especially in hot tropical climates. They do that to keep cool. It's like a sunscreen for them. The sun doesn't hurt them when they are encrusted with all this clay. And so likewise, the Chandana is Atma Vishaya Pratipattihi, the Advaita Pratipattihi, which is about yourself. Non-duality is centered on the self. So that non-duality, in understanding this, in assimilating it, in immersing in it, in rolling around in it, make sure no body part is missed. So one is the buffalo because tamas, atma ajnanam, and one is rolling around in the chandan, in the what is that, lepanam, in the anointing material here. And what is the anointing material? The anointing material is the knowledge culled from the Upanishads. That is the anointing self-knowledge culled from the Upanishad. In that one revels. In that one is fully immersed, suggesting that this is not a one-time deal. It is more of a committed exposure. It's not a one-time deal at all. It's more of a committed exposure, and so that is what is indicated. And may this be offered to the Lord. And then the next one is that you have every house that does puja has a little bowl of mm, what is that called? Has a little bowl of akshata. Akshata means rice that is soaked in that is to which a small amount of ghee and that yellow thing, turmeric, are applied. And then you kind of mix it, and then you go for 5 days with yellow hands, okay, because it's very strong. It's always like that. And then but after it dries up, it's not so doesn't run color everywhere, and so it is kept in a bowl. And then this is called akshata, rice grains coated with turmeric, and then that's offered. That's the next step. That's offered as a kind of a welcoming, or equipping the Lord to bless me like that. And so what is that is described in the uh, latter half of the word. Shantihi. Shantihi, of course, everybody knows it is absence of all disturbance, peace. Kshantihi, accommodation. Instead of being intolerant Because when one is confronted with what one does not like and one is not in agreement with, immediately one gets riled up. And what happens? One wants, one gets totally riled up, and then one wants that situation changed. And let's say you are in the place of power to change the situation. So what happens? Immediately one goes and changes the situation, because why should I tolerate this? What is going to, why should I do this? This is not what I said. This is not what I want. And I want something totally different, and I am going to have it. This is the idea. But kshanti is something different. And kshanti means the ability to accommodate things that are different from you, people that are different from you, without getting panicked and without trying to change them, or without feeling. And why is the panic? Without feeling overrun and overtaken by that person or situation. This is kshanti. Because how many things are you going to control? You can't control your own digestive system. Okay, so how many things are you going to try and control outside of this, what is considered you, the body mind sense complex? How many things can you control? Can you tell a dog not to bark? No. Can you tell a cat to keep away from the neighbor's yard because the neighbor doesn't like the cat? No. It will go wherever it pleases. And you can't even tell a human being anything. You can't control anybody and anything. And you have your sights set elsewhere. You are preparing for self knowledge, or the meaning you are a jnani wannabe. You are a wannabe jnani, or B, you are already a jnani. Only two options. So, that being the case, why would you want to control anything? And any control is just it's a contentious atmosphere, because you're not the only one vying for control. The other person is either trying to wrest the control back from you or trying not to be controlled. And so, therefore, it is always like a tug of war all the time. There's a big tug of war. And so, therefore, your sights are elsewhere. You want Advaita Pratipattihi, Atma Vishaya Advaita Pratipattihi. You want oneness. You want total, what is that, banishment of all duality in your life. So, why reproduce it by being intolerant and irritable about all these situations? You let go, you let go, you let go. The more one lets go, the more one grows. And so, Shantihi. Shantihi, this is accommodation. Ashantihi, peace. And then Alolata. Lola means going like this. Yeah, shaking. Lola. So Lola here means being shaky, not physically, not physically, but mentally, mentally and emotionally, becoming, developing alolata, unshakability, unshakability, and yeah, developing unshakability in what? In one's commitment to the knowledge. Otherwise, today I'm a student of Vedanta. I'm a Vedant in, and tomorrow what? I am a Vedant out. Yeah, Vedant in and Vedant out. That's what I am. And so again, then see, this is what happens. People come and take a few classes, and then they start to feel better, and then they say, "Oh, I don't need this anymore because I'm all fine." Why are you fine? Because you've been attending the classes, you're fine. People forget that. It's just like sometimes, people have some difficult mental conditions for which they have to take medication, depression, or even worse, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, etc. So there are medications for that. And then it is this kind of a recidivism from these not taking medicines happens a lot, because they take the medicines for a few weeks and they start to feel wonderful. Then they say, "What's wrong with me? Now I don't need this medicine. I'm fine." And so that cause and effect connection is not made here. And so therefore that which helps is dropped immediately. And same thing with Vedanta, which is the medicine. It's a super medicine for all mental conditions, sorrow, fear, everything. The garden variety mental conditions, not not medical mental conditions. Garden variety depression, garden variety hopelessness, garden variety sorrow, all this it can address. And so therefore, this is alolata. Alolata means being unswerving in the pursuit. Otherwise, the pursuit is just a small little, you don't dabble in it, or in a shallow way, and then you go away. And then there is no effect as a result of that. Nothing comes as a result of that. No effect at all. And so, therefore, what? Advaita pratipattihi. Oh, we finished that, yeah. So, alolata. Alolata means steadfastness. So, steadfastness with regard to the teaching, be following the teachings regularly, and then steadfastness also with regard to the following the way of life. Karma yoga also. Because without karma yoga, there is no clarity in one's pursuit, and all the raga dveshas can crowd out the small desire to be free. The raga dvesha winds can snuff out a small little oil lamp of the desire for freedom. And so, therefore, the alolata meaning practicing steadfastness with regard to one's commitment, practicing steadfastness with regard to the mind. That is also another very important thing. So, practicing steadfastness with regard to the mind, practicing steadfastness with regard to commitment, the mind should be steady. Not, now, today, this, tomorrow, that, what should I do? And who is asking? The 92-year-old. What should I do? do? And go to bed. That's all you can say, at that point. Why? Because angam galitam. The bones have almost dissolved by this time. And then palitam mundam. The hair is also gone from the head. Dashanavhinam jatam tundam, meaning that the jawline is without teeth. No, but I've had implants. Yeah, but that's not what we are talking about. We are talking of natural teeth. Okay, yeah, and not things you plant into the mouth. Okay, so then Dashanavihinam jatam tundam vriddho yati grihitva dandam. Behold, here goes an elderly person tottering on the stick, slowly moving. But why are they out of balance? Is it because they are aged? No, no, no. They're carrying a huge backpack. Oh my God, 92-year-old with a huge backpack. Somebody please help. No, no, they will not let anybody else carry this backpack. Oh no, what does it contain? All their hopes and desires. Tadapina munchati asha pindam. Asha pindam, pinda means a huge mass. So to modernize it, I translated it as backpack. Okay, so here this Buddha Baba, this elderly gentleman, is having this huge backpack of what? In the stubborn desires and stubborn grudges also, because the desires, as one grows older, the unfulfilled desires, so quickly and so sneakily they turn into grudges. I was good, and what did I get? Nothing. You're not good in order to get something, okay? But that's how one thinks. I have to be rewarded for brushing my teeth every day. You're not a 4-year-old, the mother puts a gold star next to on the mirror in the bathroom. Okay, you brushed your teeth nicely without being told. This is, you're not 4. By this time, one is 94. Okay, this is what we are talking about. So, even at that age, where everything has gone, the teeth are gone, so you cannot enjoy nice, crispy things, you cannot enjoy crispy snacks and all. And then, the eyes are gone, and then you just have to go like this, even with glasses. Ooh, the ear is, of course, gone. When somebody says, Grandpa, Grandma, I'm so and so's son, so and so's daughter, and what? I'm so and so's son. Oh, yeah, the sun is not shining today. No, 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 not that sun. I'm the son of your son. Is not heard. Can't even enjoy the grandchild, talking to the grandchild. And then can't eat much, if anything. Even if the teeth are there, what comes after the teeth is the throat. There, that might be affected. What comes after the throat is the alimentary canal. And that's not that elementary actually, because it's if something is wrong with it, it in all the swallowing reflex, everything is here. And there is something called what is that called, GERD, some kind of a gastric reflex disorder. So all this is there. Then if it somehow escapes all that and goes into the stomach, there it is, as one grows older, the juices are less and less. The digestive system just comes to a halt. Why? Because according to the digestive system, you should have left already. Why are you still hanging around? That is what it asks. You know, somehow your karmically your time is up, but somehow because of free will and medical intervention, you are still going on. And so you can't enjoy anything. You can't even have a conversation because you can't hear most of the things, and you're too egotistical even at this age to get a hearing aid because you don't want people to know. I mean, that's not so much common in the West. In the West, people do take care of themselves, but in India, it's just people. There is some stigma attached to hearing aids. Very big stigma. Well, if you can't hear, you need an aid. What's wrong with that? No, but they will not. They will just say, oh, I can hear everything. They will not get themselves tested. They will not get a hearing aid, no matter what. So then you can't enjoy a conversation. You can't see very well. You can't hear very well. You can't smell very well. You can't eat very well. You can't walk very well. You can't talk very well. And you can't do anything very well. And then still and then you need a stick to walk. And nothing wrong with that, but you're carrying a backpack of disgruntled desires that have turned sour, desires that have curdled into disgruntlement. I don't know if there is such a word, but whatever it is. So, desires that have turned into grudges, holding on to these grudges, not willing to put this backpack down. Tadapina munchati, still, despite being so weak and so infirm and feeble, one is not freed of this backpack. One carries the backpack not by choice, but because one doesn't have self knowledge and one doesn't have the knowledge of Karma Yoga to be able or willing to put it down. That is what, that is the reason. And so, this is the alolata. So, the alolata is very important to put down this backpack. The steadiness in the pursuit, the steadiness of the mind, the focus, etc., and knowing what one wants to accomplish and not letting other things get in the way. All these are very important qualities. And then what else? Saralata. Saralata means being like a child, honesty, childlikeness, and it's not childishness. Okay, so there's a difference between childish and childlike. Childish means give me now. Otherwise, I'm going to be angry. I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to be resentful. I have to have it just now. That is childish. But here we are talking childlike, spontaneity, honesty. The child is asked, so, where are your parents? They are hiding in the back room and telling me to tell you that they are not at home. This is childlikeness. This is Saralata, honesty. And it is very disarming. It is, of course, disarming in children who are generally, unless they have been neglected or abused, who are generally extremely uh, innocent and honest. But it is also disarming in the adult. It's also disarming in the adult because Otherwise, what happens? In order to, the adult means there are lots of complexes, and in order to get rid of the complexes, one gets into some kind of complex situations, and that makes it even harder. In so many ways, it makes it much harder. A simple thing, one forgot, and then the other person said, "You said you would do this, and this hasn't been done. Why?" And then, one goes through so many manufactured excuses. Oh, well, you didn't tell me properly that you wanted it done this just now. First thing is you deflect the blame onto the other person. So sometimes you do that, and sometimes what does one do? One deflects the blame onto the weather. I was going to do this, but suddenly it rained. That's a nice excuse in Eugene, but not in other places. Okay, so suddenly it rained, and so I couldn't do what I said I would do. Or then you blame something else or the circumstances. Or you say you blame Bhagavan directly. Well, Bhagavan did not want me to do this, obviously. That's not an excuse. Poor Bhagavan. Bhagavan is sitting in the temple. Bhagavan did not ask you to do, nor ask you not to do. So these are all ways in which one tries to save oneself. These are all remnants from childhood hurts, etc., and fears. Fears of punishment, fears of being treated badly, fear of being shamed in public. All these, because of all these reasons, these are defense mechanisms. And these defense mechanisms, come in the way of the assimilating this knowledge. That is why to address them. So a simple thing like, I don't know how I forgot. I'm so sorry. That is Saralata. That is Saralata. I'm so sorry. I just don't know how I forgot. It just didn't happen. I will write it down next time, or I'll do something so that this doesn't repeat. This, even if the other person is, let's say, is a significant other or somebody that matters to you, and that person is angry, very angry that you forgot, and especially if it's something like a birthday or something like that. What do you mean you forgot? How could you do this? But when you say, I just simply forgot. I'm so sorry I forgot. Let's see how I can make it up. Let's see how I can do something better. That is very disarming. Even that angry person gets calmed down. And but on the other hand, if there are all kinds of manufactured defenses mounted in order to hide from the behavior, in order to justify the behavior, in order to have a wall between oneself and the other person, and in order to have this feeling that I can never be wrong, I should be right at any cost, all this comes in the way, not only interpersonally, but also comes in the way of gaining this knowledge. How does it come in the way? Because the heart has a stone wall around it. How will Bhagavan, how will Bhagavan give darshan? That is the idea. The heart has a stone wall around it, and one is always festering and lonely behind this stone wall. And so, therefore, all these mechanisms of trying to manufacture all kinds of excuses, defense mechanisms, protective mechanisms, etc., keep the ajnanam in place. The stone wall not only keeps the teaching out, because that's why I said stone wall. Nothing goes in because the stone is a very thick barrier, dense barrier. It not only keeps the teaching out, but it keeps all the festering emotions in place. Neither are the festering emotions and resentment and fear and defense mechanisms allowed to leave, nor is the teaching allowed inside. So, therefore, saralata, intellectual honesty, emotional honesty, and the ability to face one's shortcomings. It's kind of nice to laugh at oneself rather than keeping on protecting. This is one way to get over it. Just laugh at yourself. Just say yeah, and because then that kind of breaks the ice within. It cracks the stone wall. Otherwise, one has a chip on the shoulder. Everybody is making fun of me. Well, when you make fun of yourself, then the mood is lightened and there is a certain agency there. You're not just a pawn, or you're not just a victim of somebody laughing at you. You are learning to laugh at yourself as well, and so therefore it not only lightens the mood in the immediate scenario, but it also bestows the blessings of being able to overcome the ways in which these protective mechanisms are nursed and nourished with the milk of defensiveness. So that is what is emotional honesty, intellectual honesty. So as soon as one dropping this pretense, that is also this Saralata discussion part 2. So one is emotional and intellectual honesty, and then dropping a certain kind of a pretense in the presentation of the self. There's all kinds of pretenses. And sometimes one doesn't even know that one is pretending. And if, how to tell, if you're around somebody that makes you uncomfortable, then this pretense mode is very much upfront. So one is in pretense mode because you are uncomfortable. That person is making you feel uncomfortable and you don't even want to be there, but then you are there. And then what happens as a result? This discomfort makes you feel that, makes you want to put on some kind of a persona so that they don't see beyond that. And whatever they see beyond that, they will definitely take advantage of, they will definitely hurt. This is the belief, and it's not just a belief, it has happened before. It's from one's experience. And so one puts on this pretense, puts on a pretend persona. This also is a legacy from childhood. And so that is also dropped. If one is interested really in allowing this knowledge to transform, it is good to first find out through some journaling, etc., what are the areas in life where I am putting on this persona, in front of which kinds of people, in which kinds of situations do I put on this pretend persona. And there might be more than one, many different kinds of pretend personas. And that is very, very important, extremely important, to allow that to drop. Allow that to drop. And sometimes it comes in so many ways. Pretend doesn't mean that you're always hiding something. It comes in so many ways. Sometimes this person I met, and then I met for the first time. Somebody introduced me. They were somebody's friend or partner. And then I just said hello and I started to talk something. And then they started to talk just like me, with the Indian accent. They were not Indian at all, but they had this Indian accent all of a sudden. To the other people in the room, they were talking normally. And then, to me, they were talking in an Indian accent and they were talking just like me with the same kind of mannerisms and everything. And so I said, what is going on here? First, it took me a little while. And then some people said, and then that encounter was finished. This was a short visit I had made one time. And so the encounter was done. And then the next day, I was supposed to give another talk and I was supposed to see the same people again. And so the next day, before this person came, they said, oh, this person is being racist. I said, I don't think so. I mean, that's not where my mind went first. And so I said, I'll just have a talk with this person. So the person came again, and then having, more Indian mannerisms than I myself do. Okay. So they came shaking their head from side to side, talking in an Indian accent again, and, the same intonations and everything, same kind of talk. So then I just said, "Are you aware that you're just mirroring the way I talk?" And they were shocked. They said, "Really?" And the real self came out. Really, I didn't know that. And then they slipped back again into the same accented ways. And so then I said, okay, here, see, this is not how you would talk. This is how I would talk, and this is what you are doing. And then said, oh, I'm so sorry. I said, no, I don't have to worry. But tell me, what is behind this? Why are you doing this? And then came the story of how they were so worried about being themselves. So this was a kind of a persona. So they were worried about being punished if they were themselves, if they had any identity, if they were visible in any way. And so they had this persona of just agreeing with whoever they was and acting like them all the time. And so then what? Then there was nothing more to say, because then that is something to be resolved. So this is all, dropping all these things is called saralata. Saralata. And then, so then the next one is nirmatsaraha, nirmatsaratvam, nirmatsaraha. Matsaraha means jealousy. Nirmatsaraha means no jealousy. Jealousy, envy, etc. Jealousy in Sanskrit is defined as a feeling of intolerance when somebody is making some gains in their life. Seeing other people do well makes you want to take some tums. What is tums? Antacid, yeah. Because you have this burning, one has this burning sensation in the stomach, seeing somebody else do well, seeing somebody else thrive. And so this is jealousy. And so the jealousy is best, and envy is less than jealousy. It is a wishful thinking. I wish I was like this celebrity, having a home having a mansion in Beverly Hills, so many people to attend to me, etc. That is envy. Oh, you have that? I wish I did. There is not malice there. But in jealousy, there is this feeling of wanting that person to be gone from the face of the earth, because why do you exist? And if you were not there, I would be doing so much better. So that is jealousy. There is envy is the mild version, and jealousy is, of course, the full blown version of this intolerance towards other people's what is that, coming up in life. Other people's good news becomes bad news for me. That means, I am jealous there. This is jealousy. And this is very difficult. The Bhagavad Gita says, even though one may be very close to being a jnani, jealousy tips one, topples one sometimes. So, therefore, it says, Dvandvatito Vimatsaraha. So, Dvandvatita means the one who is without a second, who is understanding, understanding the non-duality as oneself. And then Bhagavan chooses to add the word Vimatsaraha so that one does not gloss over it. Even then, even when one is very erudite in Vedanta, jealousy can come. Jealousy can come. And so there can be some kind of a feeling, oh, I am a better speaker than this one. Why is this one having such a big following? Those kinds of things. And that is that is a very big impediment to gaining this self knowledge, because one is creating this duality and creating a lot of kalmasha, what is that, disturbance, affliction within for oneself. So this jealousy is to be dealt with and managed, and if and with time eliminated. How to eliminate jealousy? We have what is called this pratipaksha bhava, meaning you act in opposition to your feeling. Oh, but wouldn't that be insincere? Not really, because really speaking, that's how you feel, but you don't know it. So if somebody says, if a co-worker comes and says, I got a promotion, and you too had applied for the promotion, and secretly you thought this other person doesn't deserve it at all, and of course you deserved it. Let's say this is the scenario, and the co-worker comes and announces, I got this promotion, I got this promotion. And then what would what would generally the person who is jealous, their response would be, probably not saying anything. And maybe during the lunch hour, say things like, this company is not what it used to be. All kinds of nepotism is there in this company. And you just leave it at that. You make some vague references to something and leave it at that. That is not the idea here. Here, that would be a run of the mill response. Or you don't have lunch with them, another run of the mill response. Or you go somewhere else and don't, and tell the boss not to be assigned any work projects along with them where they are the co-producers of anything. You say, no, I want to do on my own, or put me with someone else. Can't stand this person. But here, the way to those are all not ways to overcome jealousy, because that is the way to fan the jealousy further. Fan the winds that are burning in the form of jealousy in the heart. So here, instead of any of these run-of-the-mill responses, you smile. Okay, maybe behind the smile there are gritted teeth. That's okay, but you still smile like that. And then you say, how nice. You must be feeling wonderful. And oh, but it's so ersatz, it's so false, it's so hypocritical. It's not hypocritical, because that is your nature. Your nature is Vimatsara. Your nature is not to be jealous. Is the Atma jealous? Say no, so we can move on quickly. Of course, the Atma is not jealous. The Atma is not jealous. The Atma is not begrudging. The Atma is not any of these things. In fact, the Atma is Kshanta, accommodative. It accommodates everything, including the promotion that you thought you deserved. It accommodates. And so in that spirit, you just say, how wonderful. Very, very nice. No, but do I have to say that? What if I don't say anything at all? It's not the same. Even if you're not saying anything at all, there is a festering happening. And so here, if you feel like vomiting, but you say, how wonderful, how nice, there is some kind of a transformation, and that inner duality kind of, just dovetails and just, settles down. And if one is feeling skeptical, I just say, try it. Maybe you will like it. Try it. Try it. Next time you're in a very uncomfortable situation because what you wanted went to somebody else, or what you wanted in general, somebody else seems to have in abundant measure, and you don't have it. And it is not always material things. Sometimes people resent other people because they are more compassionate, they are more accommodative, and they are more committed to Vedanta than I. So therefore, I am resentful. So all these things, whatever it is, you learn to appreciate. And then, because that is what the Atma is. It is not in opposition to anything. It accommodates everything. So you learn to appreciate, and slowly the hold of jealousy goes away. It goes to sleep. It does not rear its head. So vimatsaratva adayah. So adipadat, adi means etc. So here is a list beginning with kshanti, shanti, alolata, saralata, nirmatsaratva. So then adipadat, you can take anger, you can take delusion, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, and mada. Usually they say kamadayah. They make the first one in the list and they say etc. That list of which the beginning is kama. But here they take the last one, and just for a change, and help you, and they want you to supply the rest of the things. Desires that are running away and you are trying to catch up with them, desires that are running you ragged, kama, krodha, anger, in the face of the desire not being fulfilled, the anger that comes, lobha. Lobha means avarice, greed, moha, delusion, subjective thinking, always looking at the world through one's colored eyes, and colored by raga and dvesha. Then mada is pride. Pride in whatever one has. Sometimes a lot of empty pride, even though one has not done anything, one has pride. Then matsarya, of course, jealousy, vimatsara, same thing. So all this is to be taken, all this is to be dealt with. And then what else? Shastrarthaha yadi nakshataha cha Shastrarthaha vidushaha yadi nakshataha cha. Very nice pun here. So when yadi here is not when, it is not if, it is when. Okay. So when the shastrarthaha, when the meaning of the shastra, the purport of the vision is not violated, is not violated, is not violated. What is not violated? It's not violated. It is not tainted. It is not distorted. It's not distorted. And so this vidushaha means that it goes with shastrartha. Vidusha here doesn't mean the knowledgeable one. It means the knowledge of the shastra. The wisdom of the Shastra, if it is not violated, then we will say that all these qualities, these values and attitudes here, Shantihi, Kshantihi, Alolata, Saralata, and overcoming Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya, they can be visualized as small grains coated in turmeric. The coating is the meaning of the Shastra. Shastrartha is that turmeric which coats these values, because these values have Shastric backing. Every Shastra, Gita Shastra, Upanishad Shastra, everything, they all talk about reducing, managing Ragadveshas. All of them talk about that. And so, when these Shastrarthas, when they are not violated, then that is Akshata. Kshata and Akshata. Kshata violated, and when one has gone away from the meaning of the Shastra in the form of these qualities, Akshata, inviolable and not violated, and also the small rice things are called Akshata, things that don't come to an end, things that retain their purity. More we'll see. What is July 23rd? What is next weekend? First weekend in August. Yeah, so that will be the next class. Next weekend, I don't know if we have this. Let's see. Yeah, there is a next weekend, but we'll meet on the we will meet on the 6th of August. Okay. Yeah, 6th of August. I will update the website. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. Thank you.